Hello and welcome back. Today we are continuing our Krakow run. Last episode we formed Poland, Lithuania, which was really nice. We also, I think, released Ukraine as part of that, and all we have to do is conquer Belarus and Ukraine in order to fulfill the achievement Not Yet Lost. If I recall, that's the name of the achievement. If we come into Possible and we scroll down, we'll see Not Yet Lost as Krakow formed Poland and Lithuania, check, and complete the expanding the Commonwealth journal entry, check. Except not check yet. We also managed to get bankrolls from both the UK and France, which have been our first bankrolls of this run, and so we're definitely turning a corner this episode. We have maybe 300 to 400 construction over what we should have at this point in the game, if we were not getting a bankroll, and also this will weaken, relatively speaking, these two guys so that we kind of come out on top probably sometime in this episode. I don't know if we pass France's GDP. France's GDP is pretty big, but we're also about to have a big crank up, and so that's what it's about. We're going to be fighting Belarus when we can. The truce is up in 22 months, so this might be the final episode if we get the achievement. We'll see how things go, but we're in very, very good shape. Also, just wanted to note, we're up to 100 cohesion on our power block. We named it Grand Coalition on accident. We should have named it something cooler. But we are also getting the freedom of movement, construction, internal trade. I think that this is on average probably a pretty solid setup. Well, internal trade we're specifically leaning into more because we actually really need the convoys. This has been, if there's anything to learn from this run, it's that convoys hurt almost as much as the truth. Man, we have been looking for quite some time now for a guy that will allow us to go onto single-party state, and we're just having a lot of trouble. I suppose Rosa Luxemburg can maybe agitate us into it. We don't see... Well, so here's the thing, is we need someone who's a vanguardist, but we kind of don't want to replace our leader because our leader has cautious. And it puts us in this awkward situation where we specifically want a vanguardist, cautious trade unionist, and that's kind of like winning the lottery because we haven't been able to roll them very effectively. But Rosa Luxemburg agitating us into collectivized agriculture, and then she could replace... sometime down the line, she is relatively young. She can replace our leader as someone who is indifferent to us swapping onto that. So why don't we grab her, and she'll agitate, and we'll be able to maybe get some loyalists by letting her agitate and then passing the things that she wants us to agitate for. So we see she is, of course, agitating for collectivized agriculture. The anarchists notably do not want to pass collectivized agriculture, but I think they're indifferent, and so this will just upset the industrialists. I think we'll let that agitate up a little bit. Restore presidential republic. I think that we probably don't want the agitator who's doing that, so we'll maybe say smell you later to him. We'll exile this dissident. We could promote him under some circumstances, but I think we'll just exile him. So that is our exile cooldown. Maybe that's a little bit of a mistake if we're trying to use a general to replace our anarchist. But we just, we've been recruiting and filtering through generals a little bit, and we haven't managed to find someone who is a trade unionist and a vanguardist and cautious, and I don't know if we're going to find that, so... I don't know. So I think we're going to go up to internal trade 3 here, which is going to significantly decrease our port connections. That's what we're using almost all of our convoys on, and we're going to get minus 25% cost of port connections. So I think this is going to be really good for us. Look at that refund. So this will mean a ton of our trade routes, which are now, or that are a little bit undersized, will now be able to increase in size. This is going to give us a much more security for having... or not running the malice for approval or loyalty that is related to not having enough convoys, because we just now have an enormous amount of buffer. Our port connections cost just dropped by over 7k, and now our trade routes are starting to eat up some of this cost, which is going to make all of our trade routes much better. It's going to make our businesses more profitable. Wouldn't be surprised to see a pretty big jump in GDP off the back of just unlocking 7k convoys, and you can see the GDP's kind of with one tick it went up 2 million as this went down a bit, and if we let it go up another, it goes up 500,000, this ticks down a bit. It's finding the right trade routes, it's finding the good spots, and it'll continue to rise at a rate that is a little bit faster than what we've been doing, but what we've been doing has been really, really fast anyways, so we might even pass up. I was saying that, I think at the start, I was saying that we can't pass, oh wait, yeah, we're not passing the USA. Not today. Alright, so we have a very interesting spot here because we know who's gonna die. We see his fate. The cautious boyo himself. Luckily, before we did that, we managed to acquire 40 infamy by decking on Belarus for everything. So we're just fully annexing Belarus. But this is painful because now I think I feel relatively compelled to actually go through and find a suitable replacement. And so what we'll need to do is we'll need to look through every general. We'll need to find the ones that are not popular, and if they're an ideology we do not like. So this guy's not popular, so it doesn't matter. We really don't have too many trade union generals, unfortunately, or admirals. Not popular. If only that communists were popular, we would be in much better shape. And that's it. So now I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a purge. I think that the petite bourgeoisie is a little bit strong for our liking. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to completely... Well, should we completely purge them out? Fascists, man. Okay, we're gonna purge a few petite bourgeoisie guys. We're gonna look through some petite bourgeoisie guys who are popular and have ideologies we don't like. We're gonna purge them. Then we're gonna recruit some generals, and we're gonna look for specifically a trade unionist guy that's a vanguardist. Because if we have a popular trade unionist vanguardist, he will be the next leader, and then we will be able to very nicely go on to single party state with like zero difficulty. So this is what we're looking for. Alright, we've rolled, I think, at least a dozen armies and navies, and we still haven't found one vanguardist who's popular. We found one vanguardist and one vanguardist only that was not popular, and we sent him off to join up with this fleet. But the thing is you can win a battle and you can become popular, but we're not going to win a battle in the next 70 days. So... we have one more, and I wanted you guys to experience it with me. We're going to roll one more army worth of guys, and it's not looking so good. We have a ton of popular vanguardist armed forces, which means that if we get a trade unionist guy who's indifferent to command economy, and then we can exile in 5 years because we maybe wasted our cooldown, we can exile armed forces and get a vanguardist. Maybe this is something we do in order to be able to go it. But we're rolling a ton of armed forces, boys. And not so many... We don't want to recruit this guy because we kind of would prefer not to have a social democrat. I guess a social democrat's not too bad. Alright, moment of truth. This is going to be the last general we look at. Alright, big sad. We're gonna take the dice. We'll let the fate decide our fate. Now, we're only half letting the fate decide our fate because the plan was always if we rolled something terrible, we can have her replace them, so it's not too big a deal. Okay. Who will be in charge? This guy. He's a traditionalist. God damn it. Alright, what has he got on him, though? Wait, was that that certainly wasn't a general of ours, was he? He's a general, but he's neutral. No. Can you really? I didn't realize you could roll a neutral general in. We would have exiled that boy. We would have exiled that boy so hard. Well, the traditionalist somehow got replaced by an election just immediately. I didn't think Council Republic could just completely hard stop, killed people off when they replaced him. But now we have this idiot who's giving us tax waste. I don't think that there's anything redeeming specifically on Jingoist that's really nice, other than he's going to have a little bit more approval. We're going censorship. We're hoping we can roll more of... The thing is, I think we're less likely to roll Vanguardists because we have a bunch of stuff that they like, so we maybe need to come off of stuff that they like. I don't know. This would be a sort of way of going about things. I don't think we want to pass universal suffrage because the people who have who get more clout from this have enough clout already, I think. I don't think it... Well, I mean, I guess it would make us more legitimate. That's a reason to do it. The Industrialists are already pretty bad, but we kind of enjoy when we're getting one of these bonuses or both of these bonuses, and the manufacturing tax income is not too big a deal, so I don't know. So we're still kind of figuring this patch out and still taking a look at principal groups and this type of thing. But I think that the military goods cost being so expensive as it was, I'm almost tempted for our next principle to go militarized industry. for the second level of minus military goods cost, because this is a free money modifier. It's free stimulus. I'm not sure if we're going to use conscripts though, or if we're going to try and use conscripts for the rest of the run, so maybe it's not too necessary. The other option that seems particularly good is vassal, giving us plus 25 authority per subject. We have a lot of subjects. Now, we probably shouldn't have a lot of subjects after kind of playing through and realizing some stuff, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, Bueller, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, yeah, etc., etc., etc. So we'd get a few hundred authority off of this, and so as a result, I think we're going to go with it, actually. The higher levels of construction are not super crazy. Minus infrastructure usage of construction sector buildings is kind of like a nothing modifier. And then, what is this? Locks United Construction Company conglomerate. To be fair, this is a company that's pretty good, but it's very similar to our unique company, which our unique company is probably just better because we'd rather have iron than glass. Except for we have the iron company, so we'd actually probably use this over, but like it's like somewhat close. So I think we're just going to go vassalization here. We're going to click submit, and we're going to watch our 19 authority go up to 1k authority, which of course is big nice. And with this, I think that we are going to use a bunch of decrees, and you know what would be kind of memey? If we just used a bunch of these. So in every place where we know we have iron, I think we're just going to put in encourage migration attraction. I suppose what we could do, well, actually, we want to make sure that they're currently not... See, the problem with this is that you want to actually micro this, and the micro is not very fun to do. But any place that's currently having a mass migration, you should not use an edict on. But if we just like let the game tick and think for a second, the things should turn green. I said the things should turn green. Okay, well, we should be getting more migration by a considerable margin. I think we're also going to put encourage resources in Silesia, and then encourage manufacturing, or... I mean, oh, you know what, we could do a whole bunch of consumption taxes. What are we doing? What are we doing? We can crank up. Why are we trying to get migrants here? Okay, we're just gonna, we take it all back. We take this one back, this one back, this one back. Also, you know what, I think that, in particular, it will be nice for us to have promote social mobility in the capital, because I think they have by far the most pops. And they will get a little bit, well, no, we don't need that. What we need is more money. We always need more money. Now, this is going to tank people's SOL, but that sounds like a them problem. And we're taxing the upper and middle strata anyways, so we've already, like, doubled construction. Now we're going to be able to turn up way more construction here. And the more we tax, the more we take in from these Diplo pacts. My understanding? Or does it only affect... Okay, it doesn't affect the consumption taxes. Fair enough. But we will be raking in a lot more money. Let's decrease that. And so we're going to probably be able to go up to like 2.5k construction off the back of this. And so... I mean, it's taking money from our pops. It's not just like free construction. If we take a look at the taxes, they're getting taxed pretty heavily up in this bracket. But that's fine with us. I think they're probably... still running high off of the... Oh, nope, now they're in a deficit. So this will depress the SOL of these guys, but these guys are still in a massive excess because we didn't target any of the lower class goods. And so, yeah, we'll just jam in a bunch more construction. Yeah, we are absolutely blasting now. We are up to a little over 2,000 construction. We do have a revolution brewing to preserve poor laws. I don't think we're going to abdicate to this, although I think we could abdicate to this if we wanted to go back to presidential republic. Didn't want to be on council republic anymore. We get the rise of radicalism. Oh no. I think we will... Actually, this is kind of annoying. We don't want radicals because they'll want to bring us back to presidential republic. I mean, I guess it's not the worst. But yeah, okay, that's what this guy's about. It's not too big a deal. The bigger point is that we are absolutely cranking up. We have over 2k construction now, and we're still running a positive balance. And, like, the GDP line is, like... I don't know if we've ever had a line like this vertical, like this erect, but, like, this line... the line's looking excellent. Now, we're mainly waiting for our infamy to decay while trying to figure out how to get a cautious guy, which that's not going very well because we don't have any cooldowns, and even if we did, we need specifically a trade unionist guy. But, abdicating is maybe a way to do that, huh? Because if we... we had 13 months. There we go. Hands thrown up in 13 months. We could abdicate to this revolution, which would, if I'm not mistaken, if these guys support presidential republic, it'll auto-pass presidential republic. Now, we'll have presidential republic with census suffrage and cooperative ownership, which will be quite a bit of strangeness, but we could do it if we wanted. The thing is like, the industrialists are actually able to keep kicking around, for the most part, because they own stuff in other countries now, which is a little bit of a change from, like, how things were operating before. We could see this is, the arrows are pointing towards all the different places where our capitalists own stuff, and these guys are making money, and they're reinvesting, and this sort of stuff. So capitalism still lives on, even though we went communist, which is a bit interesting, but yeah, mostly in chill mode for now. Chill and build, so we have no chill, because we're just building. So at the rate we're going, which is the most vertical line ever, we actually might pass up the USA this episode. Also, our pop line is also going quite vertical. We are mainly focused in these kind of states right here, the ones that have iron in them, and we're pushing stuff to EOS in a lot of spots. A lot of spots. We also spiked the Metropolitan Railway event for the... Speaking of railway spikes, for the 25% throughput, so now we have an extra ton of infrastructure here in the capital. Look at that, so an extra 300, so we're adding a bunch of power plants because we need them because of all the electrical demands, and then we are 51ing a ton of buildings. This is going to 51, going to 51, going to 51, and by going to 51, we're hitting the economies of scale cap, which is very useful. This will go to 51 too, and so when you go to... Like, the economies of scale stuff ramps up, and once you're past, like, level 30-ish, what you want to really be aggressive about doing is finding places that have, 30-ish, and this is a bad example, 30 plus on any of these types of things, and really push those aggressively, because the way the math works is when you build your first and additional building, if you don't have any other throughput modifiers, it's effectively worth 102% of a building, because you get the 1% throughput on the building you built, plus the 1% on the previous building. When you build the 51st building, and I know I say this one a lot, but it's like an important one to understand, when you build the 51st building, it's effectively worth 200% of a building, because you're getting the 50% throughput on the loud car outside, and then an additional 50% throughput on every previous building you had built up until then. And so this is kind of... I mean, our economy is actually kind of small. Like, we don't have a lot of really tall buildings, but this is what we're trying to do here, was we're trying to push throughput in a lot of spots, because we have enough construction to aggressively push throughput in just, like, one shot, a 51 size building, and so this is kind of what we're doing, and you could tell there's a lot of stuff just over 51 supplying the rest of the market. In theory, it's maybe a little bit more efficient to spread it out and to really build up the full construction stuff in each of these 5 states, but we are doing that. We're spreading out the steel specifically, and of course the iron and the coal and all that is also by necessity spread out. I think we also have some really heckin' big trade routes as far as steel goes. If we sort by unit, wait, hold the phone. We're importing this? No, we're exporting it. Yeah, okay. We're exporting a ton of both iron and steel. Was really expecting to see a lot more iron in here, but instead, that's such a big steel route. Normally, you can't really get steel routes that big, but we do have 2 steel companies, so this is a huge contributing factor. And so, not only do we have the 2 steel companies, we have the 2 iron companies, so iron and steel. There's iron, and so iron is the biggest input for steel by a large margin, and so we are able to depress, if we're still hitting equilibrium prices, which we're probably not, in a super robust way, we are able to depress the price of steel more than what is oh my god, our steel's minus 9%. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Almost always steel is above 0%, but the fact that we have the inputs so cheap, and also we have the extra throughput on the inputs and on the steel itself, is allowing this to happen. That's absolutely shocking that we are able to run such a big steel route to France like that. I was not expecting that. I was expecting a bunch of iron, because I thought we were really pushing the iron, but I guess the iron is feeding into the steel well enough that we're able to do this. We got quite a bit of trade with Egypt as well. We have a trade agreement with them. We've had it for some time. We could maybe try and pull them into our block if we looked to get an investment agreement of some sort, and maybe we want to do that. The thing is, they don't have open borders, so like the main benefit of siphoning migration isn't a factor as much. But we could secure some opium if they haven't already built over all their arable land, which it looks like they might have. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's worth it. I mean, like, we could build over this stuff. I'm not sure how useful they'll be. Ooh, looks like we have a little bit of a thing here. Can we declare on... I don't think we could declare on Austria right now. In theory, like, you would want to annex Austria while this is going on. But I'm pretty sure we don't, yeah. It's significantly less infamy right now, because it's only calculating the states that are not part of the Rev. So generally, if someone's revving, that's the best time to subjugate them, right before the other stuff enforces. But we'll put down this revolution. It's not too big a deal. That 160 stack should be more than enough to deal with it. And our infamy is ticking down. I think we're going to take all of Ukraine in one go, and that's going to be our next war. So we're probably just, still chilling down till then. I think that what we're going to do is we are just going to find anyone in here, because we almost have our invite cooldown here. We're getting it in July of 21. Once we have that invite cooldown, I think what we're going to do is we're going to invite anyone who's cautious, probably this guy, promote him to government, and then declare on Ukraine and have, the -1/3 cost on the infamy. So we get the first person wanting to join our nice little power block that is not our subject. Currently it's all subjects plus Landfang. Which should be fine enough. I don't think we're going to get around to going after Landfang anyways, and so it seems like a fine enough thing. I think that we're going to go after Construction 3 over Vassalization 3 here, and we will unlock our new company, which is going to give, if I'm not mistaken, so here's the thinking. I'm thinking we maybe slot this out and go for the construction company here, or we could slot out this construction efficiency. Let's slot out this one. And then what we will do is we could use the minting one as well. Not the Metalworks Combine, but the United Construction Conglomerate. That is the new one we have unlocked. And this is actually a pretty solid company, I think, for most people. It's going to be better than generic tools. We just happen to have a good tool company. But we're going to establish this, and we are going to have now 3 steel companies, which is, okay, it's gratuitous. It's giving a ton of extra on steel, but also we're going to have 2 tools companies. So we're going to be highly vertically integrated in regards to both the tools and the steel, and we're hoping that we can supply these a little bit more disproportionately to our market, and then do stuff like if we notice someone has a company. To be fair, this is kind of, I guess Brazil is one of the big powers that's like in our country or in our market, and what we could do is we could come to Brazil and be like, hey, Brazil's got a company for clothes. We could just build clothes out of Brazil, and this would work pretty well. And so like we could just come in here, see that where's a good spot for clothes. This already has a level 8. We're not sure what's going to be kind of like the highest levels, but we could just add in 23 clothes, and we can supply our market with clothes in our subjects, and this will decrease their disloyalty because we will get modifiers for this. I think that also with Brazil, we're going to come in and we're going to... we're going to start funding some lobbies in Brazil as well, so that they start to generate more lobbies that are beneficial to us. In this way, we will get closer and closer to being able to annex Brazil, because the modifiers that affect this sort of stuff will be positively affected. Economic dependence, specifically if we own a large percentage of their GDP. So if we just park a level 50 textile mill, it's going to be able to do some things. Also, our capitalists, which still have money and are still doing things, can buy from these guys, or can buy the ownership shares that we are building here when we drop down 23 textile mills. Alright, so we decked on Ukraine. We found a nice guy to promote to government using the Grant Leadership Command, and it was this gentleman here who is a jingoist. Very, very nice, obviously, but he's cautious, so we get minus 20% infamy generation. So the infamy cost went down on a per province basis for Ukraine, went down from like 9 to 6. We're now sitting at a pretty high infamy, but we're going to get the whole thing in one go, which is like, I mean, considering you're taking European recognized provinces and you're taking 5 and there's a lot of pop there, that's pretty nuts. The stacking of these modifiers seems to be really, really nice. And then what we could do is, in theory, if we had another guy who was maybe literary, like let's say this guy was literary, we could just slot out our trade unionist guy so that we get the increased decay off the literary guy. But that's not the case, and that's more than okay considering the enormous discount we are saving on infamy. And so this should be a pretty easy war. We have a few things shaking up. Persia had a play against Russia, or Russia had a play against Persia. No, Persia was invading Kalat. That's what was going on. And then Russia sided against them, and then we sided with Persia in exchange for Persia becoming our subject, and they took a bunch of land back from Russia, so that's pretty good for us. We have a little bit of a rev here that we're putting down in Japan, as well as a rev over here. In fact, we'll actually slide over some more troops here. That way we can take care of the Shandong rev. One of the reasons these guys are revving so much is, of course, the modifier for a high liberty desire. So I think that our strategy would have been dramatically different and not to acquire all these many subjects. Of course, the many subjects are really nice with the vassalization, 25 authority per subject, because we're getting, in terms of flat value, we're getting 900, I think, from this. Or sorry, we're getting 800 authority per subject from that, in addition to the 200 authority we're getting from other sources. So it's almost all of our, thing. Man, this war should be over pretty quick, and then we will be finishing the expanding the Commonwealth journal entry. So, and with it, we will be getting the achievement for not yet lost. So, a home stretch here. I mean, who can resist a good mom joke? We're gonna get Sigmund Freud employed in Poland, Lithuania, which is fantastic. We love ourselves a good Freud. Now, I think he's an agitator. No, he's not an agitator. Is he just leading the trade unions? Hey, look at the Chad. He's loved by everyone. Why? Because he's charismatic and he's a cocaine addict. Fun the whole family can enjoy. So, and if it's Freud, you're really keeping it in the family. So Freud will be, he's also a nihilist. We can't really use that for anything other than going state atheism, which we're not going to do at this point, even though it's maybe perhaps meta to do. Look, supporting psychoanalysis, the extra popularity. We do love ourselves a good cocaine addict. Alright, we are about to enforce here just one more tick for it to go to minus 100 and us to get everything. We get the bag. That's a big chunk in Poland, Lithuania, and with it, we should complete the journal entry here for a greater Commonwealth. Not yet lost. We'll make sure to screenshot that. Oh no, my screenshot. Terrible. Okay, well, we do get the not yet lost achievement. God, couldn't screenshot fast enough, the truth hurts, where we are going to say, welcome brothers, we get primary culture of Poland, Lithuania, Belarusian becomes a primary culture, Ukrainian pops, etc, everyone's loyalist, everyone's happy, everyone's nice, and we get an even better, cooler color for Poland, Lithuania. Everyone loves a nice purple. This is why you play Byzantium. It's why you play Poland, Lithuania, and we are stretching across the sky. With that, I think we're going to conclude the episode. I think we have maybe one more episode where we'll just tidy up the borders and get a nice looking... Well, maybe we won't do another episode. We'll have to have a little bit of a think, but if in case we don't, let's take a quick review of some of the stuff that we got done in this. Big nice. So GDP, absolute crank up, like over the past like 2 episodes or so. Really have just a complete flat line. This is the nicest shaped GDP line we've ever had, just because, you know, the beginning was really rough, and then we crank up here at the end really hard. Literacy, it's kind of like that. Early on, we actually did really well in the literacy because we had a high... we were using the edicts in a high proportion, so we overperformed there, and then we started to kind of flatten out. Loyalists coming up, of course, because we went Council Republic here. Population, we were kicking up pretty fast with the principal group for the greener grass, not the greener grass, so the open borders or whatever it's called, freedom of movement. So that was pretty good. And then we are a little infamous. Let's take a look at where we are relative to some other people. We couldn't really catch up with the USA on GDP, but man oh man did we get a lot of prestige here at the very end. We expanded the Navy out quite a bit. We're paying quite a bit for military goods, quite a bit more than, like, look at this, we're paying, of our 1.8 million, we're paying 0.4 of that into goods for military buildings, and this is quite a bit more than 1.6, and I think even when we did the Qing run, which is a disappointment, because the Qing runs, like, the military-industrial complex was supposed to make this look extra good, but I think they increased the cost of mill goods. I'm not 100% sure, okay, we have a pretty big GDP. It's not the very biggest. Man, the USA just cranked up really hard. The USA's graph is almost as nice as ours. Yeah, his Schwartz is almost as nice as ours, is what I'm trying to say. We're just like, put them both on the table and be like, hey, check it out. Let's see Paul Allen's. But we have a better SOL, so the moral victory, perhaps, except for the Transvaal surprisingly has a really high SOL despite revving every 5 seconds. That's definitely been kind of a thorn in our side. We definitely should have just taken Transvaal. We should have, I think a big learning thing from this run, here, let's take a look at the pop. We're number 6. Wow, we're still behind Russia. Wild. Even with that pickup at the very end. And USA is not even as big as France. Wow, that's insane. France, oh, you know what? A lot of people have been partying over here, like the British Republic having a ton of pops. Yeah, that's this party. That's some of the misbehaving over here. And then the Raj is just doing Raj stuff. But I think, like, one of the big things from this run was just kind of realizing that, look, unless you're mega huge, like actually the Qing run, and the first time we tried to do Krakow, the way Liberty to Desire was getting calculated was different. And it seems to be the case that it's really hard to keep people in low Liberty Desire, especially if you have a lot of them. And if that's the case, then I think maybe trying to get, like, going after Belungen as a protectorate maybe just doesn't make sense. I think with the really small guys, you should probably just take them out entirely, conquer them, especially because it doesn't cost any infamy to reduce autonomy now. It's just this new subject interaction. And so I think with the smaller ones, just going after them, especially for places like Belungen, which Belungen's fantastic for the purpose, or not Belungen, Selangor is fantastic for the purpose of gaining an interest. But, like, I think that these subjugations weren't very good early on. We were super, super desperate for convoys, so it would have been much better for us to just take stuff and build ports. And I think that would have played out a lot better. Also, trying to do the ideological union power block was a little bit rough. Because we couldn't maintain the cohesion as a result of and also, yeah, because this stuff was calculated differently, and also we generate mandate, we generate mandate the same way for both, but we had basically no cohesion because the way cohesion is calculated, where this is more based on being a leading goods producer in power block, which is really easy to do, and then we get the extra mandate progress, and then here we get the minus mandate progress, like minus 60%, and so it was just basically impossible for us to get anything done here. We could have finished vassalization, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the run. If we don't do another episode, I think I want to kind of get some tutorial stuff done, and we really accomplished what we wanted to do, which was the Poland-Lithuania thing with kind of all the states. It's just we have a little bit of ugly border gore, but we'll pretend like it didn't happen, just like that gaping hole in the middle of Poland didn't happen earlier. And so, yeah, I think I already said if you enjoyed and do the YouTube engagement stuff. So other than that, have a good one.
Now, children, I was asked to bring a healthy snack, so join me in the hall for swine livers and Capri Suns.